the work of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is to summarize and to assess all of the current knowledge on a particular topic, mostly the very prominently recognized reports on climate change. So we are trying here in this working group to put together all what we know about impacts, adaptation and vulnerability. Message showing that ecosystem services are of great value, about twice as much as the global GDP. As this study shows, 33 trillions or 10 to the power of 12 US dollars per year. Large areas of land are going to be affected by major transformations, like with a warming of 2 degrees, 15% or 40% as a warming of 3.5 degrees. For instance, in Switzerland, we had 1.5 degrees warming, while we had at the same time a global warming of only 0.74 degrees. So we have summarized many of these findings by saying that actually over pre-industrial levels, 2 to 3 degree warming will result in mostly negative effects and will mean that due to a unique combination of pressures as well as effects, ecosystems resilience is being exceeded as we exceed 2 to 3 degrees over pre-industrial levels. Loss in species diversity there was estimated and projected to be between 10 and 80% in the fauna or 40 to 50% in endemic plants at the warming of plus 2.1 degree globally in the mean. Or sea ice biome, again, extinction risks for polar species like walrus or some seals and polar bears at a global warming of plus 0.28 degrees in the average, or biodiversity hotspots such as coral reefs, tropical rainforests experiencing major extinction risks between 15 and 40% of endemics as global warming reaches plus 3.5 degrees, expected to have significant impacts on tourism, destination selection, or for Mediterranean tourism likely to decrease in summer and increase in spring and autumn. Winter tourism, duration of snow cover is expected to decrease by several weeks for each degree Celsius of temperature increase. Beach-based tourism, like in Mexico or Uruguay, increases in sea level rise, weather and climatic variability and extremes will affect it. Or for small islands, Caribbean, effects of climate change on tourism are largely negative. Detrimental impacts on coral reefs and mangroves of relevance for Africa, Australia, and New Zealand are also mentioned. When we try to limit warming to a maximum of 2 degrees, let's say, as we have heard today, for the Whistler area, it would be very difficult. If warming would go beyond 4 degrees locally, I would say that means we should not go beyond 2 degrees globally in the mean. Then we would have to stabilize the greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere at about 450 ppm CO2 equivalent. This is something which has been estimated by IPCC to require that by 2020, relative to the emission levels of 1990, industrialized countries have to reduce their emissions between 25 and 40%, and by 2050 they have to reduce them by 85 or 95%, depending on the climate sensitivity uncertainty which is explicitly considered here. Alternatives exist, of course, if we fail to reach this goal. Thanks for your attention.